going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is week 1, just ended last night as I'm recording this on Tuesday the 13th. I would like to do my top 10 teams in the NFL. And last week, I believe I started off with, or I ended between 2 and 1 with an honorable mention. And I think this week I'm going to give my honorable mentions first. I have 2 this week compared to the 3 last week. And my 2 this week are going to be the Saints and the Dolphins. I think that the New Orleans Saints played like dog ass for the first 3 quarters, and then Jameis Winston and Michael Thomas came in and just lit up the Falcons defense, and then the Falcons choked away the game. I love the Saints, and I would love to see them be a Super Bowl contender, but I just need them to be a little bit better than the way that they've been playing. And then the Dolphins, what is there to say about them that hasn't been said? Tyreek Hill didn't do too good on his Dolphins debut, but he did decent. Pretty happy with what I saw so far. Tua looked pretty good. Jalen Waddle looked fantastic. That defense, though, man, I think that the Dolphins could be a scary good team this season if we're not careful. But yeah, let's move in right away. This team this rankings list this week is probably going to cause a little bit of controversy. But moving in and starting in at number 10, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. That defense was awesome. 4 interceptions off of Burrow, 5 total turnovers, 7 sacks, and it took a blocked field goal to force the game to go to overtime, and then they forced the Bengals to make mistake after mistake at home and just embarrass the Bengals. It was so good to watch this happen. They just did so good, and it was very good watching the defense. I'm not sure if they'll be on this team or on this list within the next couple weeks because TJ Watt is out for a minimum of 6 weeks with a partially or fully torn pec. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's fully torn. And then Najee Harris is out with a Liz Frank sprain that he kind of like re-inflamed a little bit. But I'm not entirely sure. I just feel like because they're 1-0, I could put them on this list right now because they just absolutely embarrassed the Bengals. And they shocked me too. In my predictions, I said that the Steelers were going to lose. And I genuinely thought they were going to lose. And what else can I say that hasn't already been said about the Steelers? Mitch Trubisky played pretty good. And I am very, very excited to see where this team goes to begin with. Moving on. Moving on to number 9. They dropped a lot with this power rankings, but they got absolutely embarrassed. And this is the Los Angeles Rams. I wanted this team to be so good, and I wanted them to beat the Bills. I didn't think that they were going to, even though I picked them to win in my predictions. I'm embarrassed for them. Matthew Stafford played bad. He played really bad. 3 interceptions for Matthew Stafford. Targeted Allen Robinson once, which is embarrassing. Cooper Kupp had majority of the catches. Yeah, this was just a rough game. The defense played bad too. They're really missing Von Miller on that defense. And yeah, I think that the Rams could bounce back for sure, and I don't think that they'll be this low in my top 10 within the next few weeks, but if they keep playing like that, I don't think that they'll be able to repeat a Super Bowl like everyone's acting like they are. Moving on to number 8, we have the Baltimore Ravens, and I was very high on the Baltimore Ravens. Last week they were number 7 for me, but this week they dropped down a little bit purely because the teams that I have above them are just so much better. But I'm going to start off and finish focusing talking on the Ravens. The Ravens were very good. Lamar Jackson had a great game, 2 touchdowns. Rashad Bateman had a touchdown. Devin Duvernay had a touchdown. They just were very, very good, and I was really impressed. Yes, they played the Joe Flacco-led Jets, and Joe Flacco's old and kind of becoming a corpse, but I think that the Ravens still played very good. And yeah, I think that they have potential and to become a bona fide contender moving on in the rest of the league. I think that this team is actually going to be very good moving on, but if people keep sleeping on them, they're just going to show them who really is the best team. And with that being said, I'm going to move on to number 7, where I got the Philadelphia Eagles. That offense, man, is fantastic. That defense, a little scary coming back in. Put it a little close with the Lions, who I said were going to be a very good team this year, I think. But the Eagles, pretty good. They were dominating the entire game, and then Jared Goff led a super comeback. Yeah, 200 yards of rushing offense, plus 185 yards passing from Jalen Hurts, who looked really, really, really good. And I'm very excited to see how this team does. Now that Dak Prescott's hurt and out for 6 weeks, this is the Eagles' division to lose. Yes, the Giants are also tied, and the Commanders are also tied with the Eagles, this is the Eagles division to lose. I am very, very excited to watch this team and see how they go the rest of the time of the season. I think that they could, for right now, be a Super Bowl contender, but I'm not very confident in that. If anything, they'll probably just be a wild card, and they look way better than they did last season. Moving on to number 6, we have the LA Chargers, and the Chargers didn't charge this up, and I was very impressed with that. They almost did, but Derek Carr threw 3 interceptions, which was very good for the Chargers defense. And while they don't have J.C. Jackson, they still looked like a really good defense. They gave up a lot of yards for Davante Adams, but it's Davante Adams who I think is the best route runner in the NFL. And yeah, I think that this team has potential to be also a Super Bowl contender. They're very, very good. Justin Herbert is a top 3 quarterback, in my opinion. I think that he is going to be popping off, and that statement of him being a top 3 quarterback sparked a little bit of controversy, which I might end up having to talk about in a different video, a little bit separate from this. But yeah, I just sitting here looking at it, the Chargers did really good against a division rival. They completely embarrassed Derek Carr, who was coming out with a lot of hype, and Raiders fans thought that they would be having a lot of like momentum coming in from their miracle run last season. But yeah, they just got absolutely embarrassed. And that's about all I got for the Chargers. I expect the Chargers to just keep moving up from here. As last week I had them at 8, and they moved up 2 spots to 6. But right now I'm expecting them to go a little bit higher and move up a little bit. Moving on to number 5, we have another team dropping. We have the Green Bay Packers. Absolutely embarrassed by the Vikings. Absolutely embarrassed. I think that Christian Watson dropping that very first pass that would have been a bona fide touchdown. It would have guaranteed been a touchdown if he wouldn't have dropped it. Absolutely embarrassing for him. He didn't get targeted again until the 4th quarter, and Rodgers just doesn't trust his receivers unless it's Randall Cobb. I think when they get Alan Lazard back, then the Packers will be better. But for right now, I'm going to have them at number 5. I still think that they have potential to be a very good team, but that defense also embarrassing. They had Chris Barnes get super hurt, and Quay Walker's hurt, and Devontae Wyatt was a little banged up. And yeah, what I thought was the strongest middle linebacker core in the NFL ended up becoming now one of the weakest. They have a lot of depth, thankfully, but I am very, very nervous. They play the Bears on Sunday Night Football, which I think is going to be very easy for the Packers, because the Bears I don't think are that good. But I think that this team is going to end up moving up and end up showing people that they have the potential to be a playoff contender. Look at what they did last season, where they got blown out 38-3 at home, and to start off. And I think that this is just going to be proving people wrong this season. It's what they do every year, and week 1 for the Packers is just always a weak point. Moving on to number 4, I have the team I just talked about, who embarrassed the Packers. I have the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson led the league with yards and receptions at 184 yards and 2 touchdowns. Awesome day for him. That defense smothered Aaron Rodgers, sacking him 4 times. Za'Darius Smith looked fantastic for the Vikings. And overall, I think that the Vikings were a very, very good team. I think that they were much better than the Packers were last week. I'm not sure if they will stay in the top 10. I'm very curious to watch how they play against the Eagles, because I think the Eagles could shoot up if the Eagles win next week and the Vikings lose. And I think that the Vikings will just shoot down if they lose. Kirk Cousins had a very good game, and this was a very, very good game, I think, for Kevin O'Connell to show off his offense and why he deserved to be a head coach. That being said, I have a bad feeling about the Vikings. I don't really trust their defense. Their offensive line is all right, but it's not my favorite, and it's a little bit of a position of worry for me. And I just worry about the Vikings a little bit. I would like them to be a very good team, but there's a little bit of concerns for me overall. And yeah, the Vikings come in at number 4 for me. Moving on to number 3, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. And I just want to start off, Chiefs fans, I am so sorry that I said all the bad things I did about Patrick Mahomes. Chiefs just launched up last week. They were at number 6 for me, and now they're at number 3. 44 points against the Arizona Cardinals, who I didn't expect to be a good team, but I didn't expect them to get blown out this bad. I didn't expect the Chiefs' defense to be that good. I didn't expect Justin Reed to be a good kicker. I didn't expect Patrick Mahomes to throw 5 touchdowns. Any of that. Juju Smith-Schuster had a good game. Travis Kelce had a wonderful game. I was just very excited to watch the Chiefs, and I don't really want the Chiefs to win anymore because I don't like watching the same teams win every year. It's boring for me. But yeah, the Chiefs, if I act like they're not a bona fide Super Bowl contender right now, it would just be wrong, and I would just be very inaccurate. Yeah, the Chiefs were awesome. 44-24, I think was the final score. Cardinals never stood a chance. Kyler Murray looked bad against the Chiefs defense. And yeah, I don't really have much to say, but the Chiefs are going to be in the top 10 for a while, and as long as they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to be a great team moving on. And yeah, that's about all I got for the Chiefs. They come in for me at number 3. There's not really much to talk about. You have Patrick Mahomes, and yes, I thought that he was going to be worse without Tyreek Hill, but he just has Travis Kelce still, so he's going to be guaranteed to be good. And yeah, that's all I got for the Chiefs at number 3. Moving on to number 2, I have the evil who just never seems to go away. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have Todd Bowles, who's a new head coach for them. He had a bad head coaching stint with the Jets, if I remember them talking about it correctly. And they just smothered the Cowboys' offense. The Cowboys' offense looked anemic. They couldn't do anything. The Cowboys had one good drive, which was their very first drive, and then from there they just did nothing. The Buccaneers defense looked really, really, really good. Tom Brady had a little bit of a rough time, I think, and he didn't do it nearly as well as I was expecting. Mike Evans looked really good. Cameron Brate looked really good as well. And yeah, they didn't really do that well, but I was just expecting a lot more. But acting like the Buccaneers aren't a Super Bowl contender after that defense smothered the Cowboys is just crazy to me. So I'm going to have them at number 2 for right now. I think that the Chiefs have the potential to move up above the Buccaneers next week. I never want to count out Tom Brady, ever. And yeah, I think coming in at number 2, it has to be the Buccaneers. But coming in at number 1, it has to be this team. This team just embarrassed the Rams on Thursday Night Football in the season opener, and I got so much flack for it. It's the Bills. Josh Allen is that guy. I understand why he was leading the MVP talks. I'd understood it from the beginning of the season. He's actually one of my favorites for NFL MVP. I like Justin Herbert as well to maybe be NFL MVP. But yeah, the Bills were awesome. Stephon Diggs, fantastic. Gabe Davis, awesome. James Cook fumbled his first NFL carry, so then he wasn't allowed to touch the field. But Devin Singletary, awesome. That defense, easily going to be the best in the league this year. The defense is amazing. They just smothered the Rams. 3 interceptions off Stafford. Didn't let the Rams do anything. Every time the Rams tried to do anything, the Bills would beat them. Stephon Diggs cooked Jalen Ramsey and made him look bad and made him look like he should go into retirement. It was just awful if you were a Rams fan. And yeah, that's going to be all I got for my rankings this week. Just to recap, here's going to be my list for week 2, which I'll put in. And yeah, that's about all I got for you guys for this week. Take it easy.